And we're live.
With Paranormal Spirits, place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, things that go bump in the night, and I get to do that with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. To my left, my beautiful, delicious. Wonderful.
Delicious.
Football loving.
Football loving. The game's still not over.
Wife, Alyssa.
Hello.
Straight across the table from me, I have my best friend, sidekick, confidant.
That becomes less funny as I sit without my shirt on and I see that my nipples starting to point down.
He's got two jellies.
Your headlights don't point forward anymore. They point at the road. With his two jellyfish.
Getting old
His
man
two
boobs.
jellyfish.
Yep.
I like his jellyfish.
I like his jellyfish too.
It's Howler Brothers.
I've never seen his starfish, but
Listen, he can keep that to himself. I don't need to see that.
The hairy, dirty starfish.
Y'all are nasty.
Well, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go through all of our, well, maybe not all of, but we're going to go through and touch on some of our previous podcasts that we've had. We're going to take John's pen away from him. He's going to play clicky on that.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean,
That's a lot of clicking to do. I agree. I understand.
Look, I can even.
I know. It's a lot of colors.
Colors.
We're going to talk about some of our
rainbow.
Our previous
I can make all
podcasts
flags
that we've done, and this marks about the 6 month mark for us. Because seriously, you're going to click that off.
I was trying to get the red one back.
Here, you want this one? It only clicks once.
Yeah, this is a little fat for my. Yeah, this has a better hand feel. Yeah.
There we go. How's that? That's better?
Yeah, I can just do this then.
Alrighty. Okay. So, like I say, this is our 6 month mark. We've got like 30 podcasts now that we've put out.
I think it's been more than 6 months. This is like the first. I remember the first couple of times we recorded. It was cold outside. Summer lasts half the year in Texas, or more than half the year, and it's cold. And now it's cold outside again.
Right, but we started April 24th was our very first release. That was our release date.
Oh, because we recorded it like a whole month.
Yeah, like in February.
Yeah, at least March. Yeah,
late February, early March when we first recorded. And then,
so it's almost been a year that we've been recording then. Since today is the 2nd of November.
Yeah. So
this will be released later, obviously.
2023.
Obviously.
Yes.
But we've been at it a little while now, and we've got a catalog of a lot of different stuff. So we thought we'd go back over that and touch on some of it. Plus, it gives us a chance to remember, oh, yeah, that was really cool. Or, maybe we've changed our mind since we've done the podcast. And we go, you know what? I thought that was real at the time. I don't so much buy it now. But anyway, before we do all that, I want to talk about all the places you can go to see us. On the web, we've got a YouTube channel, which is 3B Paranormal Spirits.
Spurts.
I said spirits.
Spurts.
I didn't say spurts. I said spirits.
Paranormal comes
3B
spurts.
Paranormal Spirits. We have a website that is paranormal-spirits.com, and that's just the dash mark. Then we have Twitter or X. We have Instagram, and we have TikTok. All of those are paranormal _ spelled out DASH _ spirits. We also have
Spurts.
a Facebook. I did not say spurts.
Spurts.
Silence, woman.
Paranormal.
Oh my God.
Spurts.
Paranormal Spirits. So we have a website. A Facebook page that is Booze with Benefits, and please join our or our Facebook page. We'd love to have you there. We'll say hi when you get there, John. If you click it one more time, I'll thump you upside the head. Okay. So, anyway, like all of our shows, this show is about spirits and spooky stuff and some alcohol. So tonight we have a special guest with us. We have
Colonel
E.H. Taylor.
A unicorn.
A unicorn. We have a unicorn with us tonight. John, tell us about our unicorn.
I've never had it before, so I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, go ahead and grab your name, John.
Exactly, Karen. I'm feeding to try because this is not something you can just normally walk in, at least not around here in the liquor store and buy, because this is an allocated bottle from Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Shout out to Tyler. Thank you for sharing your E.H. Taylor with us.
Yes, thank you, Tyler, because this, like I said,
it's really hard to get.
It's hard to get. These are allocated,
which means
there are only a certain number of bottles released, and they only go to certain liquor stores, basically.
Only certain liquor stores get them. They only get a certain amount of them.
Think Steel Sports Rolex.
But I say it sounds like Rolex.
It's exactly the same
thing.
Right. So you either got to know somebody that owns a liquor store, or a lot of places, maybe not so much with this one, but some of the other allocated stuff like Pappy Van Winkle and stuff like that, they'll hold they'll have like raffles where you buy tickets for charity. So you buy
a chance
to purchase it at retail, or you can go and buy them online. The retail on this is like $40. If you were to ever find it in a liquor store, didn't know what they had, or you knew somebody who'd sell it to you for retail. But you pay about $100 online for 120 or so.
Quite the markup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's other bottles in this line that are $15,000-$20,000 online.
Good Lord.
Good gracious. I can't even imagine drinking something that costs that much. I can't imagine having that kind of money.
There was apparently a tornado that took out a warehouse at Buffalo Trace Distillery that was aging some E.H. Taylor, and those bottles, the barrels that survived the tornado, those are their $15,000 to $20,000 bottles. Right?
Oh my God.
That's great, man.
That's a car.
What a loss.
That's like a decent used car.
That truly is a natural disaster. For them. That's awful. Awful.
Smells good.
It's 100 proof.
It's 100 proof, bottled in bond. Means it was aged for a minimum of 4 years. I'm sure this is quite a bit longer than that, since regular Buffalo Trace is aged for about 8 years.
What's that note? Butterscotch?
Butterscotch.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I smell.
Something.
So this is Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1. So this would be the same mash bill as the regular, your $25 bottle Buffalo Trace or your Eagle Rare.
See, I really like Eagle Rare.
Stag Junior.
Okay. Cilantro?
That's smooth as silk.
Man.
That's good.
I'm warm. It's warmish.
Is it worth It's not worth $120. If you got it, you had to get it retail. But
yeah, get it retail. But man, that is really good.
It is really good.
It's very
and
stout.
Well, it's 100 proof. I mean,
I know,
it's going to be stout.
I guess I mean like flavorful. Like it's a rich flavor. It doesn't just. It's not.
It is a rich flavor.
It's got ethanol and you can taste it, but it doesn't. It's not one of those that you kind of lose the flavor. Like it stays. Do you know what I mean?
It's a long finish.
A long.
I was going to say
let me be a little bit more professional. Long finish.
The finish is. I like it even better than the initial flavor blast that I get. And the finish lasts. I mean, I can still tasting it.
That's some ZZ Top legs right there.
Yes, it do. Some giraffe legs.
It does remind me of Eagle Rare. Probably because it's the same juice, just a different warehouse.
So is this the same juice as Weller's?
No, Weller's is the weeded mash bill.
So okay.
Weller's is the same juice as ends up being Pappy Van Winkle. And then mash bill number 2 is the higher rye one. That's what ends up in Elmer T. Lee and blends.
So I guess the batch that got hit by the tornado, is that going to be labeled a very small batch?
It'll say Warehouse C Tornado Survive. or something.
I know, that's what I would do. I would give it like a tornado on the back or something.
It actually says on there tornado survivor, doesn't it?
Warehouse C tornado survivor. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Tornado on it.
But I've never had any of the huge head, which is a shame that it's allocated like that, because $40. This is worth every penny for it. This tastes better than $60 stuff, $70 stuff I've had. But,
oh yeah, absolutely. And I could remember though talking about stuff that's allocated that's not expensive. I could remember seeing Buffalo Trace at our little liquor store that was behind the counter. Remember, they had it locked up.
Oh, whenever they get it, they don't put it out on the regular shelf.
Yeah, and that's just Buffalo Trace.
It's just $25 bottle Buffalo Trace.
Early Times, that's another one that they used to lock up.
Sometimes they put it out, sometimes they lock it up.
Yeah, but I mean, you and I have both been down there when it was behind the counter, locked up, like the expensive stuff. It's like, that's crazy.
Early Times, damn good bourbon.
Yeah, it is. For what, $20 a bottle?
Something like $21 for a liter.
Oh, is that what it is?
Liter bottle, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good, isn't it?
This is really good. Mm-hmm.
I'm down for some.
It's not life-changing.
No.
But it is really good. If that was readily available sitting on the shelves for $40, I would buy a bottle every now and then and keep it around.
It's really sweet.
It is very sweet.
It's very sweet.
That is a sipper, not a shooter.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Although this is
syrupy.
This is about to be an empty glass.
So we're all down for some E.H. Taylor then.
I like everything I've tried that's Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1.
Yeah, it's a hard thumbs up for me. Mm-hmm. It is a solid thumbs up.
It seems almost a little smoother than the Eagle Rare.
I'm not a big Eagle Rare.
I don't know, man. I like me some Eagle Rare.
It's been a while since.
This is a lot cooler looking bottle too.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's very apothecary-ish to me, like old school.
I'm mad at him. He threw away the cylinder.
Yeah, I did.
The box.
No, it's in. Isn't it in the? Is it in the recycle?
Maybe it might be in the recycle bin, which means it might be still.
If it hadn't been picked up to be recycled and it's not gross and everything,
you want it, right?
I want it. Yeah, I collect the tubes. I keep the tubes from the scotches.
We should have saved the Scarabus then, because it had the coolest.
It really did have a cool one.
That Scarabus tube was really cool.
But that's one we could get again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You probably would never walk into Total and find this available. I doubt, because they're going to have a rich clientele in Dallas. They're going to,
hey buddy, my E.H. Taylor just came in. Come pick you up a bottle.
It's just like the Fortaleza tequila that
you can't get.
Hardly ever make it to the shelf.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we're all thumbs up for E.H. Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Colonel Taylor.
Heck yeah,
better than Colonel Sanders.
Well, let's go all the way back to podcast number 1. Not the true number 1, because the true number 1 never made it out, and
it was cursed.
It was cursed. We tried 3 different times to record it?
Twice,
at least.
Yeah. No, we did 3 times.
Did we try it 3?
We 3 times, and every time some kind of technical
malfunction,
difficulty,
camera would malfunction. This camera in particular.
Yeah, and then another thing. We did finally get a good solid recording, but we didn't get any video with it. So we do have a recording that we may release at some time, someday, for some reason. But for right now, we don't have a number 1. So this is actually the second. Yeah, it's haunted, cursed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second number 1, and this was the Bray Road Beast. And this is the one where we talked about skinwalkers and this beast that lived.
I just remember it digging a hole and smelling like rotted meat outside of a church or monastery or something.
Yeah, it's a monastery. Yeah. And this thing, the thing that got me about this one was the fact that there were 400 separate accounts that people had said, yeah, I saw it. It's a real thing. And
Over many years, right?
Yeah, it was several years. Started in the 1930s, I guess, the first guy that saw it, but didn't say anything about it until he was basically on his deathbed. And then...
Picked up in the 70s or 80s, wasn't
it? Late 80s, I think. Late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
I'd known about that one for a long time because of Small Town Monsters had that. Seth Green made a movie about it.
Well, the lady, the journalist, she actually passed away that wrote for the newspaper that reported it, and that. But she had collected 400 different accounts on that, and for me, that was the thing that gave it some legitimacy. Was the fact that there were so many people that came forward and said they saw it. So, what do you think?
I think I ain't camping out on the side of the road.
I don't think I would either.
On the side of Bray Road, if I'm going to drive down Bray Road, I ain't getting out of the car. Well,
you're right.
Maybe in the daytime.
Yeah. So, Alyssa, real, not real? Bray Road Beast.
I mean, I don't know if it's real or not real, but I'm with John. I ain't like camping on the side of the road.
You ain't pushing your luck.
Something's running around out there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of people to say that they saw it.
I'm coming around on Dogmen, like in that kind of thing.
I know.
Because the first time, like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Like, a Bigfoot makes sense.
Dogman doesn't make sense.
Dogman doesn't make sense.
Bipedal wolf creature doesn't make sense.
Not unless you make it supernatural. It doesn't make sense. But then there's so many reports here in Texas of Dogman and all. It's like, well, I don't know.
Right. All right, so the second one we did, John took us all the way to Portlock, Alaska, with a carnivorous, man-eating Bigfoot.
Alaskan killer Bigfoot.
I don't know about that one. I'm on the fence.
I mean, there's definitely Bigfoots there in Alaska, and there's definitely some running around there.
Okay, so here's my thing about that one is that I do believe there's Bigfoot. Bigfoot's real. Okay. So the fact that this whole town there in Portlock just disappeared. I mean, over a very short period of time, everybody said, "Screw it, I'm out."
Finding too many dead bodies down in the slurry pond, ripped apart.
Yeah, and it wasn't like chewed on, gnawed on. A bear did it, a wolf did it, or a pack of wolves, whatever. This was like you pull apart,
dismembered.
Right.
So
by force.
I'm thinking that was something. It was something. I don't know that it was a Bigfoot, but I do know that it was something that had to have been strong enough to just literally rip them apart. So I'm going real.
And make an entire town vacate.
Yeah.
And the natives there believe it.
True.
I don't remember the native word for it now, but
I forget. But yeah, they have their own.
They have their own word, and it goes back long before there was a cannery in that town and stuff. I mean, this goes back.
I'm always down for supporting the natives. They know more than we do, that's for sure.
So walk us back through Emily Morgan.
Emily Morgan is that very large, gargoyle hotel in San Antonio.
Gargalicious.
That's on the outskirts of the Alamo. That flanks the Alamo, essentially. And it has had many reports of hauntings. If I remember correctly, Emily Morgan is the one where the man had all the pictures and there was someone holding on to his arm in each one with like an orb or something, and it was closest to his arm and he didn't take anybody with him. And multiple people have reported it being haunted and seeing things and feeling things.
So haunted, not haunted?
Very haunted.
You think haunted?
100% haunted.
100%
I mean, I to be honest with you, I don't think that you could get that many haunted hotels in a very short, very small amount of square mileage right around the Alamo. One of the most deadliest, battles in Texas history. And it not be haunted in some form or fashion, because all these people are lying out of all these hotels.
And I think if it's nothing else, even if it's not things that happened in the hotel itself, I think that
wasn't it a hospital too?
It had been a hospital previously, and as we've determined through the ones that we've done here, and then those of us that have worked in hospitals. I mean, that's the one place where spirits are gonna hang. Battlefields, and then you double that with a hospital, psych hospital at that. And then it becomes a hotel that some mysterious things happen. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm going to say that's probably going to be haunted.
Episode number 4 was The Bell Witch. And
that is so often told. Like, that's like one of the oldest. Because isn't that the one with the movie?
I think Jefferson went there.
Jackson, I'm sorry. Jackson went there because the Hermitage is not far from there, though. His home
is
not
true.
Far from there.
So, but he went there because he wanted to see the Bell Witch. Everybody knew about the Bell Witch. I mean, this haunting went on for years and years and years, and so I think it's more of a possession type thing than I do. It was an actual haunting than a witch. I think that's what they called it because that was the vernacular of the day. But I do believe that it was probably.
Well, there's also the probability of Native American body parts being brought to the house, and then I mean, there's I don't know, who knows, so long ago.
Isn't this the one where they're walking down the street and the kids saw her, the little veiled thing?
Oh, when she started pulling her hair out?
Yes, that's her, right?
Yeah, that's Bell Witch.
I'm sorry, I'm having to keep all these
straight. I'm going to go
John Bell.
I'm going to go with, I think there's a high probability that there might have been something, but that over the years this has been...
Well, that cave's haunted.
Embellished.
There's something going on in that cave. I mean, Zach and the gang caught all kinds of crazy stuff in the cave there on the property.
So I'm not saying that it wasn't haunted, come on. But
it's a cave with Native American burials above the cave, like
right. So
but to the extent that
it's this woman and all this, I don't know about that.
I think that it was. I think
this is just something that's been. It's so long ago that there's just
a little game of telephone going on over.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, look how long it's been. I mean, we're talking a couple hundred years.
But something obviously happened because it has been told so many times.
Okay, so John, remind us about.
Now this
number
one,
5.
100%.
Oh, Bobby Mackey's Music World.
Bobby Mackey's Music World.
Yes, the haunted honky tonk.
The one where she's beheaded and thrown down the
Wilder, Kentucky.
What was her name? Do you remember the girl?
But
they found her body in one place and they never did find.
I don't remember her name, but then
she was pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a botched abortion. Her dental student boyfriend and his friend, and then that's probably what killed her. And then they chopped her up when the cocaine didn't, because it worked. Yeah, right. It was pretty horrific.
And then Bobby Mackey's pregnant wife.
I bring the horrific.
Yes.
Yeah, I bring the trigger warning stuff.
There's something about this story that reminds me so much of the Black Dahlia, and I don't know. You know the story of the Black Dahlia. Because of the body being dumped. I think it's the dumped and then dismembered.
Oh yeah,
horribly, maimed.
They did number them.
Well, they pretty much know who did that too. I mean,
they do.
That doctor who owned that mansion. It's a crazy mansion, and I've seen a couple different investigations there too, in that mansion. And he killed her there,
right, and then moved her. So, but I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like the way she looks and all this, but I definitely believe that this place is truly.
And then there was Johanna, the singer,
right.
Who became, if I'm pregnant by the male singer, and then her father was the one who owned the place, and he didn't approve of it, and then he had him killed. And then when she found out,
she killed herself. She
killed her father, and then herself.
That's right.
All down there by the well, which is not really a well. It
goes out into the drainage. It's a drainage
from when it was a slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse, yeah.
That place is effed up.
Yeah.
So the next one I want to talk about is one I'm going to skip over some, but this is our 9th episode, and this is the one where we had all this dissension about who thought what, and John, I believe if I recall correctly, John said, this was hogwash. I mean, I know that's not the word he used, but it wasn't really haunted, and it was just a big farce. I said, I think it was
the Amityville horror.
Yeah, but I think that I think I've kind of adjusted my take on it. I think.
What was the address?
Something Ocean Drive.
It's something Ocean Drive.
Yeah, like 312
it's
or something like 112.
Long Island.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I think Amityville I think the initial DeFeo family, I think they suffered from some kind of haunting, demonic. Really? Yeah, because
you think Butch was possessed?
I think Butch either was possessed or oppressed.
Butch is the one who said that he got with the author of his lawyer brought this to him and said, "Hey, you want to make some money?"
Okay, but let's go back to the 30 caliber.
That's the only weird thing about that.
It is weird, isn't it?
He says that they were just going to kill the parents. And then his other buddy ran away, and he went to go get him. And when he came back, the sister had killed the kids too. So then he struggled with the rifle with the sister and killed her.
There's a lot of discrepancies about it, but that's what I say. I think
the actual murderer says that the demonic possession is total horseshit.
That's what he says now, but how many things has he said up until now?
Well, he's also a drug
user.
Right, but my point is that the story has never been the same, ever. Because it's changed from day to day to day, or week to week.
But I definitely think that what's his name?
The Lutzes?
Will.
Josh Brolin's dead.
Yeah. Will, right?
The Lutzes, yes.
George Lutz.
George Lutz. He brought some juju.
You think George it was actually haunted when George was there?
I think George was a dick, but
I think George was full of shit.
I think they made this up for money.
I think he saw an opportunity to make money.
But wasn't he into all that?
Yeah, and he was into witchcraft,
the occult,
and occult stuff.
I mean, what about the kids in the doors slamming on their fingers and stuff? You think he did it?
The kids say it was legit.
One kid says legit. The other kid says it's bullshit.
That's true.
Which one do you believe? I mean,
and I think the one that.
See, we're still split on it.
I don't know. I mean, I watched that whole the documentary series about it, and I'm like,
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I only give that about a 20% chance of any of that being actually real.
I go 50-50.
And then you got the Warrens showing up, and of course, it's the demon. John, it's the most haunted place.
It's always a demon with the Warrens.
It's always a demon with the Warrens, kind of like Zach.
But he's a demonologist. I mean, come on.
Okay, so let's move on, or we'll be here all night on the Amityville. Let's talk about what's another good one. Episode number 12. That was the Crescent Hotel.
Haunted. 100% haunted.
John?
I mean, probably I've never been, so I can't say.
That's the one with Norman Baker that was, healing
Dr.
folks.
Baker,
when he really wasn't. And he was just killing them without any pain meds and letting them scream in another wing of the hospital while he had his secret entranceway for his little mistress and
burning the bodies instead of actually burying them and not just cremating, just throwing them in the incinerator. I mean, the guy was evil.
I mean, what else are you going to do with him?
Well, exactly,
But that is all to say.
It's too rocky. It's too hard to dig a grave.
But he wasn't the only one. They had a lot of people off themselves while they were there, unalive themselves. The girls that jump from, it seems like most of my hotels has a girl that
the jilted bride.
The jilted bride, or he didn't show up. And
he's dead from a storm, he's died at sea.
I had to find the jilted women ones.
Yeah, and so
I
couldn't find anything about the girl who unalived herself.
Oh, from the conservatory, the women's
I looked.
They tell you that though when you go there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because it's part of the
lore,
the mythos,
But I will. I mean, after being there,
I will say that though, I've been there.
Yes,
I've stayed there.
Yes,
it's haunted.
Oh,
this is the place that had the Irish stonemason.
Yes,
and his
Mike.
Room.
Mike the
Mike's
stonemason.
room, 119.
He's the one that fell to his death when he was up there working on it.
He's the one that I went on a ghost tour there, and when we stood outside his room, and it smelled like cherry pipe tobacco. This is the room
there where they have some little plushy ghosts and stuff on the bed.
But people say they probably are piping cherry pipe tobacco, and I'm like, do you know how old this place is?
This person said, hey, they could easily have some guy down there in one room smoking it, and they're just fanning it through the vents.
You could, I guess, but
all of the multiple pictures of people. There's one that we put on the website of the girl that's seen in the staircase.
Yeah, she's.
I mean,
it's haunted.
The place feels haunted when you go there. Like I've never stayed there because
That's where I caught the picture of the ghost over that person's shoulder.
That person.
It's my ex-wife.
She who shall not be named.
She who shall not be named. What's scarier, the ghost or the she who shall not be named?
She who shall not be named is much scarier than any ghost I've ever encountered. So let's go all the way over to Scotland.
Crescent, I definitely recommend people.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to go check out a old, really cool, really great history, beautiful area, and haunted, let's go.
Absolutely.
I always wanted to go to Eureka, but
Eureka's so great.
I don't know.
I'm
My
a little
very
biased.
special friend from Arkansas has never taken me to Eureka.
Well, they should take you to Eureka because it's really cool.
Although it is, to be fair, 4 hours away from.
Oh,
It's
boo.
worth it. It's worth it. Let's go to Scotland. John, tell us. This is episode 11.
Oh, the Gray Man.
The Gray Man
McDouey.
of Ben McDouey.
The Scottish Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Well, there's something up on Ben McDouey that freaks people out and scares them. And
I think he said there's something very queer up on Ben McDouey.
Hey.
Isn't that the quote?
That's the quote when it meant something different back in
Oh,
the
when it meant odd,
20s,
strange,
something strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not when
Not
it
gay?
was when it was not when it was part of the alphabet soup that
Oh my God.
everyone identifies as
Yeah.
nowadays.
Okay. So anyway, we just threw that out there.
Is it not a snow monster? What are those called? Why can't I
A
think of
Yeti.
any? Why can I? What's the other word?
Abominable
snowman.
Mm-mm.
Well,
No.
that's a Yeti.
That's a
I
Yeti.
know, but I was trying to think. I'm having.
I
that
don't.
was
I
a
don't
cougar.
know.
Fart today.
This one, I'm not 100%.
You're not.
It's not like the Alaskan Triangle one. I mean,
So you think the Alaskan Triangle is
this could be some sort of haunting type situation.
Ben
think-
McDouey.
There is a cairn and stuff up there at the top of that mountain, and who knows what
a
was
bitchy woman?
no cairn.
Oh,
Not a Karen.
Cairn.
like a Glencairn?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
And and no one knows what was buried under that cairn or anything. You know.
Oh, sure.
So who knows what's up there? I mean, it's not a very tall mountain. If I ever made my way over there,
You'd walk it.
I'd be willing to do it.
So here's what I think. I think that notable persons of notoriety
Scientists.
who have been up there and said, this is what I saw, this is what I heard, this is what I experienced. And it's people who have something to lose by saying that they saw this
Right.
thing. So,
but some of the descriptions are outlandish.
Oh,
The height
absolutely.
and stuff, which I tend to think. In my imagination, I am imagining this is some sort of phantom, some sort of haunting type situation that's associated with the cairn up top. Something happened on that mountain many before, in the Neolithic period. Who knows? That put a stain on that hill.
well, here's what I think is really strange about this, because so the average man, 6 foot high or 6 foot tall.
You
Okay.
wish.
Yeah, neither one of us 6 foot
You
tall.
wish.
Average person male is about 6 foot tall. Actually, the average
I think
height
it's
is
5'10".
5'10".
I think it's 5'10".
I am exactly average.
I'm
in
5'10"
every way.
as well.
You've shrunk.
So
He's a
anyway,
little less than 5'10" now.
so we're going to call it around 6 foot.
Osteoporosis.
Let's not get too concrete. Alyssa's trying to be concrete on me. Around 6 foot. How's that? Is that close?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Jesus. So,
Has nothing to do with this.
oh my God. I would pray to him and beg for you to hush about this. So anyway, if a guy is 6 foot tall and he takes a step, right? So you have this creature, Ben McDouey, the gray man. If he took a step that is every other step, you would hear that echo every other one, right? So you're talking 12 foot, right?
Right, but they were
That makes sense.
they were describing
18 foot tall.
one step, but their descriptions of the steps is one step per every like 3 of.
Oh, what I had read was every other step.
Or
So 3
one
steps
for every 2 of a person, right?
which would be 12 foot.
Right, which would be on the high end of a Bigfoot,
Right.
very high. That's Alaska
Right.
Bigfoot size. That's
But
not
what they
lower
were
48
describing that they saw was 18 foot tall.
Right.
And I'm like,
But they could
that's-
also, panic, and
That's what I'm thinking. They were scared. It was dark. It was snowing. Whatever.
there are very few actual visual sightings. What
most of
the
them,
majority of is hearing stuff, hearing something else, walking on those on that rock fall with you and following your steps, or surrounding your tent and walking around your tent.
I gotta be honest,
just out of view in the fog.
That'd be creepy as hell.
Yeah,
hearing something walk like that, and you can't see it, or you can't see it well,
and then
shadows.
Back, I can't remember the names of these folks, but one of the original sightings. This was back before the UK government decided to take away their citizens' right to defend themselves. He took shots at it back when they were allowed to have guns, and nothing. Which lends me to think, if I take shots at a Bigfoot, especially if I can see it, there's going to be a blood trail.
Odds are good, yeah.
But this makes me think this is something more paranormal. There's something up there that's ghostly.
Underneath the cairn?
Something under the cairn that doesn't want people up there. I'm ready to go find out, though.
So,
let's go. Let's
move to episode 13 with Shadow People. What do we think?
I think that they exist for sure.
I think they exist.
I know they exist.
John's experienced it.
I mean, how many times in anything, there's always something about shadow people.
Well, yeah, but are we talking about shadow, like when you see shadows move, like those shadows in the corner at that haunted house in Gainesville? Or are we talking about the black mass that's holding you down?
I think that
your bed.
Okay, for the sake of this, and for the sake of, I believe that episode when we did it, when we were talking about it,
you're talking about sleep paralysis.
We're talking about
or
sleep paralysis, shadow people, nightmare.
Night terror, yeah.
Night terror.
Those are real.
Yeah, that thing that holds you down. And you remember there were several different kinds. There was a kind with a hat. The
Hat Man. Yeah. I've never seen Hat Man.
Yeah, neither. But I know that a lot of people have. A lot of people claim to have. And I've never experienced...
Mine didn't have the red eyes either. Mine was this black form, almost like a hood, like a monk.
I never experienced, I guess, what you would consider true sleep paralysis, where I'm wide awake and I can open my eyes. I've had times where it's very difficult, like I'm awake, but I can't seem to move yet.
Yeah, I have that all the time when I take a nap, but that's different. That's the same thing.
Okay, exactly.
Definitely real.
The real night terror thing is like, then you wake up and you look over and it's still there and it holds you down again. Then you wake up and it's a few times before you actually wake up. And
yes. I think both, honestly.
I think but I think I came to the conclusion that these are things that some sort of trans-dimensional thing. You know how there's bleed between dimensions, right?
Our veil and the next.
Yeah, and these things may be aware of us all the time. Some of them just watch. Why some of them are just watchers. Some of them are malevolent interactors. Maybe they gain something from the fear. Who knows? Don't ever want to see a motherfucker again. I can tell you that.
So let's talk about
years, and
I'll tell you, I would like to go travel to Hoia Baciu.
Hoia Baciu?
I would really love to go travel there, Transylvania.
Romania. Well, right now, the State Department just issued a warning against all international travel for U.S. citizens.
I don't
anywhere
think it'd be a real good time right now.
No, I didn't say that it would be.
We got to wait till World War III is over from the Middle East here.
Just to see those freaky trees with the curls in them. And
I'd go.
How did you do that?
Or the giant blank space.
Yeah, what was that? The
dead space.
The clearing?
The dead clearing in the middle, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it would be so neat. And I think that there's obviously something that happens there because, once again, the natives are like, don't go there. You don't need to go in there. Like, don't go in there. And then people are like, we're going to go in there.
Yeah, but then they also do paid guided tours in there.
Yes, yes. Yeah, but I'm doing that at night.
But, isn't that where, was it Zach or Josh?
Josh Gates has been there on Destination Unknown, and it was his cameraman.
That got slung.
Like 20 feet, like literally just lifted in an instant off the ground and thrown. Like, in a way, there's no way they could fake that. I mean, something picked him up and threw him across.
That's crazy.
That
is crazy.
Zach, they saw the eyes and the trees and the orb, that really weird that kept kind of changing colors, yellow to red.
Well,
they
saw
caught it on
that.
camera too, on regular and thermal. I mean, you could clearly see this thing was free floating and glowing on what was behind it.
I was going to say it was glowing, like you could see the
360
light.
glow around it.
Yeah. It wasn't like a light shined out there. It was like you could tell because it would pass a tree and you could see it.
Yeah,
the reflection on the tree.
There's something
really
out there for sure.
Definitely.
So how about you?
It's Romania.
Totally honest.
So,
I mean, Dracula.
It's Transylvania. It's literally in Transylvania.
Pennsylvania. I mean, come on now.
Well, then let's jump down to vampires. Since we talked about Hoia Baciu, and it's right there in Romania next to Transylvania. So
in Transylvania.
So vampires. And I guess we need to define what a vampire is. A vampire is somebody who...
A goth who thinks he's a vampire?
No.
I'm talking about...
Or an actual...
I'm talking about Count
Undead
freaking Dracula, where he sleeps in a coffin, he gets up at night.
There was a lot of misunderstanding about the scientific processes involved in decomposition of bodies.
Correct.
That could, and a lot of misunderstanding about diseases like rabies and patella, whatever that other one's called. I can't remember now.
Renfield's. Is it Renfield's disease?
Mm-hmm. That's the.
But there's
vampirism.
Yeah, that could lead to people thinking this. But then who knows? I mean, all myths are based in some form of legend, and all legends are based in some form of reality. But
true.
And there were so many burial legends around, like, don't be buried in an old shirt. Like, don't put out any, don't burn a picture of a dead person.
Well, you know, it's funny that we had this discussion, and then the other night, because we're right after Halloween, so the entire month of October is, I watch a lot of...
Yeah, it's up in season on horror movies. And
so I watched 30 Days of Night, which is one of my favorite, because they're not pretty boys that glow in the dark and they're
glitter in the
sunlight. They're monsters who show up in Barrow, Alaska for 30 days of night so they can feed. Anyway, the lead vampire guy says in their vampire language, because you have to read in subtitles, he says, you know, when some of them are going to escape or survive, says, you must destroy the ball. We've spent centuries convincing them that we were only nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convincing them that we didn't exist, right?
What if these are aliens? Vampires were actually aliens?
Maybe it's some
that came here.
Ancient astronaut theorists suggest
time ago
that is truly what happened.
And wait, so hear me out. So they came here a long time ago, and they've convinced us that they're only myths, they're only nightmares, it's only in our bad dreams.
Maybe it's some divergent branch of humanity from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago.
Anything's possible.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago.
And, you know, it's interesting you say that because...
Like Australopithecus? Like, we're doing something a little bit different? Like...
Giganopithecus.
There's one starts with an A. There is one starts with an A. Don't make fun of me.
Australopithecus.
Okay.
But Australopithecus I like better, though.
Yeah.
See? I'm making it better for you.
Some of that Australopithecus.
Slap that Australopithecus.
Continue. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying that the thing that struck me about vampire, and I didn't really realize this until I started actually researching it, but it's not just Dracula from Romania or Transylvania. It's vampires from Mexico and South America and Asia and
Trinidad. And
it's everywhere.
That thing from the Philippines that comes in and feeds on children.
Yeah, I mean... So I mean, it dates back for thousands of years.
We could be going all the way back to Africa here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
300,000 years ago, or more.
Egyptians. The Egyptians talked about it. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest it was aliens.
Okay, so we know we have.
Normally, I don't walk around at night worried a vampire's going to suck my blood.
Yeah, I don't either.
No,
so, or werewolves, or
I'm more concerned about werewolves than I am vampires.
Let me tell you, I would have a hard time walking across a field at night in Kansas. I would worry more about a werewolf than I would, and not a werewolf, but a dog man.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about
it seems more logical.
Some fella up it up, who want to suck it? No. Not worried about that. Always am suspicious of Eastern Europeans.
Okay, so let's
joke.
talk about something we all have many times spoken out on the use of the participation in
Participation
in the use of
precipitation.
Ouija
boards.
Ouija boards.
That's exactly like saying Ouija board.
So let's talk about episode 25, the Zozo demon. Real? Not real.
It's a so-so demon.
It's a Zozo. Zozo demon.
I mean, I don't believe in... I always have a problem with this Judeo-Christian...
So,
because these things have been around way longer than...
predates Christianity. I'll grant you that.
Right.
Okay.
So even the word demon from Greek, daemon...
Yeah, well, I know.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
You're not...
So we call it a malevolent entity or...
This one is
Malevolent.
Malevolent.
Yeah, malevolent entity.
Malevolent,
bad.
non-human
That goes by the name
spirit.
of Zozo.
Mal is bad.
So...
But is that Pazuzu too?
Well, yeah, Pazuzu, you realize you want to talk about how Pazuzu protected the women, the pregnant women, right?
Yeah, protector of pregnant women, protector of the home. Yeah.
And brought plague.
To the people you didn't like.
Plague and pestilence, etc. So, also in the Catholic Church, they have attributed God, I can't
We're
talk.
putting extra syllables and stuff tonight.
Attributed
Participation.
the possession of several different people to Zozo.
Well, let me ask you this.
Not Pazuzu, but Zozo.
Okay, because the Pazuzu would be is I never understood that anyway in the movie. So Pazuzu is from it's Babylonian, Sumerian,
Yeah.
pre-Christian. Why would you require the intervention of a Roman Catholic
God
priest?
always has been. Whether or not we had the Catholic Church to tell us he was or not. But anyway, moving on from that.
I think we should just say we shouldn't play with Ouija boards.
That's what I believe.
Don't play with the Ouija board.
Don't screw with that.
Don't be seancing or even using apps, the Ouija board apps or any kind of
I don't
thing.
think so. I wouldn't
the
do it.
modern version of that. Anything that can open up potential... Any veil thinners. Let's put it that way.
Veil thinners. That's a good way to put it.
You don't know what you're going to bring across that may not actually be your grandmother.
May not be your
That
grandmother.
may not be
after all.
Aunt Helen.
Yeah, or what did they turn into when they crossed?
Okay, Travis Walton, episode 28. Real, not real.
Joe Rogan says it's still the truth, so I guess I have to believe the Podfather.
I like that.
The Podfather.
You're going to have to remind me.
Travis Walton was the guy
Fire
who was
in the Sky? He was abducted
by
Oh,
aliens.
yes, I'm sorry.
1973,
Yes.
Yeah.
4.
So
I
real,
mean,
not
I don't.
real.
I think real.
I think real. I'm going. He was telling the truth.
Like, he hasn't made any money off of it until recently. Recently, he has with being on Rogan's podcast and making the UFO
But he
convention rounds.
he
and stuff,
never
but
wavered from his story.
50 years.
He was
didn't-
never
48
trying
technically.
to, like you said, he wasn't trying to make money like Amityville. He didn't call the Warrens. I think they're dead, but still, I mean,
they're gone.
But I feel like nothing's changed. Like
50 years
nothing.
has passed. And I know that lie detectors can't be used in court, but still, that's the best way we have right now of telling whether somebody's lying or not, as a rule. So,
100% believe he's telling.
I
the
think he's
truth.
telling the truth.
I don't know. I'm
You don't know?
part of me believes it, part of me doesn't.
Okay, so
Just because there
Do you
were
believe-
financial reasons for him at
do
the
you
time,
believe
because of that logging contract,
not for him, for
him
his
and
boss.
his partner.
his boss?
Well,
His boss is the one that had the contract.
you know what
Travis.
upsets me the most about his story?
What,
His pussy ass friends just driving off, leaving him.
dude? I
That-
I know that's pretty rough, but
I would be so mad when the aliens dropped me off.
This is Mike saying he would leave yo ass up in that.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is,
I wouldn't leave Mike. I'd empty out the Glock and as a distraction and try to put it back in the truck.
These guys were absolutely terrified. You know, so you got.
Don't be leaving me up in that damn spaceship.
So not even a spaceship. Let's say a bear was attacking me. Would you go over there and fight that bear hand to hand?
Am I armed?
No.
I mean, if I'm in bear country, I'm armed.
Well, yeah, but let's say you're not armed.
Tell you,
you've been out there chopping wood all day.
Get down.
Well, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely, it's different because you got this spaceship that's come down and zapped this dude.
But he disappeared.
But spaceships don't scare me.
Bears are going to carry my ass off right after they're done with you.
And my point is, these guys were absolutely terrified.
I get it.
And I think that's why they jumped in the truck and they said, "Oh my God, let's get out of here." But in their defense, they didn't make it that far and they came back and he was gone. I'm
leaving you with Yogi. Me and Boo Boo. We're out. Right. You get to play with Yogi. I'm not playing with no bear.
That's my point.
I mean, if I'm armed or if I have bear spray, I'm going to try to,
Yeah, sure, but
the aliens are a little. I don't know. I feel like this is totally different. He just straight up disappeared. They didn't know what happened to him.
But see, I'm not. If I've seen a spaceship, if that spaceship had stopped, that UFO had stopped and come down, I would not have been scared. I was not scared. I had this feeling of peace and ease of seeing it. So
I don't think they had the same experience.
I was almost like, take me with you. Just don't probe me in the butt. I'll be fine. You can take blood, whatever kind of samples. Just don't
probe me.
Just don't probe me.
Get in the spaceship, stupid. We're doing butt stuff.
Just show me how the spaceship works.
Yeah.
Get in, loser. We're doing butt stuff.
Get in, loser.
We're doing butt stuff.
I don't know.
How about Mount Shasta?
Mount Shasta?
Mount Shasta.
Something is definitely going on.
I think there's something going on in Mount Shasta.
There's been enough just weird disappearances where somebody was there and they turned their back. Hey, Fred. Nope.
Yeah, and
he
they're
is gone. No tracks, no nothing. Gone.
And it's not like, maybe.
Lots of cover-ups, too.
Maybe something.
Well, there's supposed to be a vortex, like portals up there, all kinds of weird energy things happening up there on Shasta.
Yeah, that was episode 20. People need to check that out. If you're into kind of just like how the hell did that happen? That's completely unexplainable. Mount Shasta is a place for it to happen because there were so many people that were up there, and like John said, it's like you turn around, and they're gone. These two guys that I remember specifically from the story, they weren't that far apart.
That was the guy, the older fellow, who was completing his every summit in California, and that was what gone.
Another dude was
across a snowfield where you should have seen.
Another dude was up there. I think he was looking for agates or something like that.
Looking for what?
Agates.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
fancy rocks.
Rocks.
With Shasta.
Yeah, and but he wasn't able to go out on his own, so his friend was with him. Obviously, if I'm staying with somebody who's going to be incapable of taking care of themselves up on the mountain, I would be close by. And he was, less than 100 yards away. Went back over there. Dude's gone. Nothing.
I think there's some kind of portal up there that goes to another or goes to the Hollow Earth, or who knows. There's something up there that if you walk through, you ain't making it home for dinner that night.
You could say it's the Lemurians who abducted them and took them into the mountain.
Or the Atlanteans.
Well, the Atlanteans aren't there. The Lemurians are there. Atlanteans are somewhere else. But
are the Lemurians the reptilian ones?
No, they're the tall, blonde.
Oh, the Nords.
Nordic-looking. Mm-hmm.
How about you did a bunch of different houses? You did Snedeker, Smurl, Beckwith, Hinsdale.
The Smurf haunting.
Which one? How do you feel about those? So Smurl was the one in the duplex. Snedeker's the one in the old mortuary with the sick child.
Yeah, so Smurl was episode 17. That was where they were displaced by a hurricane and ended up in a duplex with his mom and dad in the next one. And so, yeah, that could go either way. But that went on for a long, long time.
Snedeker's the one that I truly believe. I mean, that's one of those things, those mortuaries. It's kind of like one of those hospitals. Like, how is it not haunted in some way?
There's a show on Amazon. It's called, what was it? We bought a funeral home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And his family like buys this old funeral home and converts it into their house. This quirky
Right.
parents and kid. Anyway, pretty awesome place, but there were some weird happenings going on in that.
I think probably Snedeker, that was the one that bugged me when I was doing it, because it was really sad. You know,
the parents taking the boy that was ill.
He was, yeah. So, and he ended up passing later. You know,
He got better and then it came back.
that was the funeral home one. Remember, the boys were down in
Had lymphoma.
the basement. The boy was sick with.
Oh, it's the one
cancer.
where the parents didn't believe. Wait, every one of them is where the parents, don't believe them.
But the kid, you know, and I just remember it was so, to me, when I was reading about it, it was so profound that when they finally got him out of the house and into the hospital, they're going to put him in a psych hospital, right? Or the hospital emergency room. They took him to the emergency room to be placed in a psych hospital later. But the kid turned around and told him, he said, now that I'm gone, said, it's going to come after you and it's going to be even worse. And it was. You know, all the family was affected then. And so I don't know, that one struck me as spooky, I guess, you know, kind of creepy, eerie reading about it. I think it was it was for real. Mm-hmm. I think it was for real.
I think there were some dynamics within the family too that excel. And you know, I think we've talked about this before. Is it because of the dynamics in the families that happens that creates some of this activity? You know,
Right.
the negativity, with the parents and the kids,
the demonic forces in.
Demonic or not, just the negativity draws these
Familial strife and arguing negative emotions and stuff. Something is drawn to that.
Yeah, the anger that comes with it. And then the Hinsdale house, I must say, I really believe that one's very true. That's the one where they saw the boy with half of his face that was in the forest and he disappeared all of a sudden. But that one was the one that had been like a travel stop during like the old timey days.
Yeah, back when the stagecoaches would stop there. And if they found a dead body along the way, then they would take that and drop it off, and they kept it underneath in that storage room underneath the stairs,
cellar
and then they
or
would take it and
whatever.
bury it later. Yeah,
The root cellar.
yeah.
And like we've said before, I think when you're talking about a place that's so old that has so much history with death.
Well, they had a hanging tree on the
bearings.
property that they know of. There are several Indian burial grounds close to on the adjacent property of that.
Native American.
What'd I say it?
Indian.
Oh, well, we know.
Not people from India.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to bleep all that out, but Native American burial grounds.
Indigenous persons.
Whatever.
Which always they're very spiritual. So that brings a lot of stuff. And then if you start digging it up and doing all kinds of destructions.
So you had that, and then you had, they have ground penetrating radar that they've used to find
multiple bodies.
5 bodies.
Has they brought the dogs out?
I don't know.
I ain't trying to disturb it anymore. Jeez.
I don't think they dug them up. I've only heard that they found the bodies. So no telling what that was from. Is that somebody that got murdered there? Is that somebody that got dropped off there after they were murdered?
Sorry.
Is that somebody that, whatever. But I mean, they're there.
I really believe that one though. Like that one,
Mm-hmm.
if a lot of it,
Was the
out of
Hinsdale
all the
house.
stories, like I
episode
feel
27.
like that one had a lot of history to it that would definitely lend itself.
I tell you which one that I found an interesting story.
Teresita Basa?
Heck yeah.
Coming back from solving your own murder.
Dude.
Talking
From
through
beyond
the
the grave.
lady.
And that was episode 21. And what a talented, amazing person she was to begin with, because she was
To be able to come back from the other side and solve your own murder.
she was a pianist, and then pianist.
How old are you? My goodness.
Oh my God.
I'm 12 sometimes.
Oh my God! Right now he is.
I just thought that was really interesting. That would also be an interesting film. I'd watch that.
Yeah, because she literally came back
And essentially possessed that woman to speak through her.
The worst part of the story is the light ass sentence that piece of shit that killed her got.
Truth.
And the fact, as far as we know, he's wandering around, wandering the streets today. He's still alive.
He got off with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
And that's messed up. That part really is messed up.
It very much was. Then you have the 2 haunted hotels with all the elevator issues.
All of yours have elevator issues.
Jilted brides, and somebody who unalived themselves in a room with a gun.
Well, you forgot about Bonnie and Clyde.
They were always in
Texas.
Bonnie and Clyde stayed here.
And Galvez.
So Galvez,
and Adolphus.
Stockyards, Adolphus, all had Bonnie and Clyde.
I think Baker too. I think the Baker claimed it too. But that's Texas. I mean, I think that you're going to see that a lot anyway.
Anytime.
Though I will say, I don't believe that they ever said that they were at the Emily Morgan. The Baker Hotel's the cool one that had like the first air conditioning system before it was a thing and it was like off grid.
The Baker's definitely haunted. I've seen Ghost Adventures has been there.
The one in Mineral Wells, episode 26.
Investigations in that place that would indicate that is a haunted.
The Adolphus is episode 23. That's the one that the Queen went to, and her picture is still there, and it has the twin piano that's in the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah, the other one's in the Titanic, and one is in the Adolphus, and one is in the Titanic.
It's a beautiful.
That's the one though that all the people died in the elevators. Like apparently that's
and the dude
before
sunk into the sidewalk.
But then
what's wrong with this elevator?
Yeah, hanging out the elevators when you shouldn't. But that one is super old, super cool, but multiple people have talked about.
It is a beautiful hotel, too. If you've been there, you could go eat at the restaurant or something, or there's a cool cowboy bar there, too. You could, just to see the place.
It's
really nice.
And if nothing else is haunted there, their elevators are.
And
they
it's
just start
from
moving.
Neiman Marcus, too, if you want to do some shopping.
I want to go to Galvez. That's the one I want to go to.
100%. That's the one that, of course, is in Galveston, has episode 19 that's multiple hurricanes because it's Galveston. And has had to be redone many times. It has now been returned to its original pink.
And didn't we determine that
built over the side of a mass grave from
from 1900
or 1900
hurricane of 1900,
1903, something like that.
1900 was the hurricane.
Okay, yeah, and that was the largest
death toll. Natural disaster
in the United States.
Yeah, that's why they built the seawall so that.
Mm-hmm. That took 60 years to build.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And that was also what spurred all these storm trackers to warn you of different storms. That was one of the first times.
Well, we've had a lot of stories and we've had a lot of fun with this so far.
What about Yorktown?
Oh, yeah, about to say, can we not forget about Yorktown? Because I would really like to go.
Let's do Yorktown.
I would like to go there.
I would too. Not at night though.
You're an hour and a half away from the best barbecue in the world, and an hour and a half away from San Antonio.
We can go see the other hotels.
And this place has so much activity.
It's
you're
like
almost guaranteed you're going to get stuff. Some things you might not want, but
so we went to.
The blood is still on the walls in the basement.
Yeah,
we caught several EVPs. We caught some really cool.
Oh, repeat what you said. We went to, where was it? It was Hill House in Gainesville. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I did not say, but
Hill House Manor.
Yeah, Hill House Manor and
not the haunted
Gainesville.
Not haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, but Hill House Manor.
We didn't do an episode about it. Is what I said.
Yes,
but we did. We go there back in, when was that?
Oh, hot as fuck! Out of July or June.
July.
Awful. It was hot.
It was so hot in that place.
It was hot. It was ungodly hot.
It was July.
I wouldn't mind going back now that the weather's not. And it's tolerable. You could actually go spend time upstairs without.
Dying.
Just the only thing you can think about is the fact that it is 94 degrees inside.
Yeah, it was hot.
We did catch a few EVPs. One of the ones, if anybody that actually listens through our videos all the way through, that the EVP is actually you tacked it on at the end after the door slamming.
If you listen to the end of our show, at the very end, you'll hear the door, or right before the door slam, you'll hear the EVP, and it says,
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Is what
Now,
it says.
let's admit, when you had me play it, because you found it on your recording, we all had some activity. That one was, I think, the clearest. You know.
Yeah.
I had nothing on my record because I was the first person to go past the lobby into the creepy haunted part by myself. And I kept hearing this click, click, click. I was like, it's all you could hear on my recorders. What in the hell is that clicking sound? It was the IR cameras going off, right? But, I did catch when I was watching the monitors and you guys were in the well room that
wild orb.
Like there was a lot of orb activity, but I imagine a lot of it's dust.
Most of it's dust.
Because nobody's probably cleaned those couches and stuff in a while.
But there's a couple that you can tell they've got a movement of their own. That's
There's
not...
one that manifests from the wall on the opposite side, comes across the table where you're sitting, comes
We'll have to do a video
very slowly.
Maybe a video of it with some of the snippets. It's going to take a little bit to put it together, but I do want to encourage people to listen to the end, because when you first had Adeline and I, our daughter, listen to it, and you were like, does it say, and I don't even remember what you thought it said, and the minute I heard it, I was like, it says don't be scared.
Yeah, well, you have younger ears.
Is it always just be an age thing with you?
That was a compliment. You have younger ears.
You have younger ears, and I
am younger. Yes, no, I just have better hearing.
You can hear frequencies that,
and you have, because you haven't abused your ears for as many years as I have.
Lots of rock music that we've been through in years, shotgun blasts,
live fire, military exercises.
You heard it too.
No,
playing in the honky tonk.
No hearing protection, shooting guns for years and years.
Calm down.
You're the one that went all.
It's
got to be an acing.
Always use hearing protection with your
always use. Please do, and guitars. But I will
Cadillacs and hillbilly music.
I will say that it just was proof, though, that when you listen to EVPs, how it's hard to really tell.
Yeah.
What they're saying, but this one is pretty clear.
Yeah,
y'all
pretty
can
clear.
Take your own opinions, but
sometimes I'll disagree with what Zach says his say, and I'll be like, "That's not what I hear."
Yeah,
but this one to me is pretty clear.
I would say this is a Class A.
This
EVP.
is we all agreed, which I thought was perfect, because right before it said it, I think one of us said something about this is scary.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mild experiences, like when you were down at the bottom of those stairs and there was a really loud
something banged on the floor.
And I was watching you on the arc. I could see you. You couldn't see anything, but we could see you, and you didn't do it. And you said something might have touched you. And I saw you kind of like
something touched my hand, like. But
and then when I was watching the cameras, and you guys when that orb got caught around that same time, I could see where y'all were, and something thumped like a big heavy footfall on the floor behind me.
Well, then I caught an EVP, and you're talking over it in that front room that you're talking about, the thump. You talked over it because you're talking to him in the other room, and I'm sitting in that room just doing and like a little, because there's supposed to be a kid rumored to haunt that, and there's something speaking to me.
Well, you remember the SLR too. Mm-hmm. When we first turned around after we'd set the equipment down and stuff, it's like, okay, let's walk around, turn around in that front room, the same room where I heard the footsteps behind me,
sitting room,
then that settee or whatever, the parlor, there was a SLS figure sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then Mike goes down, sits next to it, and it says, "Mm-mm,
I'm out. I don't like Mike."
But so it's active, but it's mild activity. It's
nothing scary. I didn't think.
Yeah, we probably needed to bring a Ouija board in there or something.
No, we did not.
No, I don't think we need to do that.
No Ouija boards.
And on that note,
because it's something to fire it up in there, get it really active.
Listen, it was hot enough. We didn't need any firing.
That's true.
On that note, I want to say goodnight. I think we had a good time.
Join us for the next 30 episodes.
Yeah. Go back and check those out if there's anything that you want to hear. You kind of get this was a brief overview of everything that we've done, but
if any of you guys have heard any stories that you want to hear about that you've just heard in passing that you'd like us to research,
hey, check this out
and talk
research
about
that one. Absolutely.
We definitely would be down for suggestions as well.
Hey.
If you can find Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch,
if you can find that for retail,
get you some.
And good get stuff. Us one too. We'll Venmo you the money. If you can get that for retail, we'll definitely send you the money.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night. Listen to the EVP at the end.
Yes. Don't be scared.
having to peel those off?
Oh man, I've been peeling them off for months. It's not as bad now as it was in the summer.